Okay, awesome. Good morning, everybody. My name is George Vanetis with Main Street, Oakland County. We are pleased to have another great presentation on our digital marketing series workshops. Our speaker today is Teresa Heger. She's a small business digital trainer for Main Street America, and she's done a fantastic job over the last few years working with me at Oakland County and doing some workshops, both live and virtual. Today's program, we're going to concentrate on business growth using Google tools and just quick things that you can do that you can implement in your small business. And then the second part of the presentation, we're going to talk about a mindset, how to change your mindset for business growth. So we have a lot of material to cover. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the first part, which is the using the digital tools, the topics for digital tools. Then we'll answer a few questions, maybe 3 or 4 questions. Then we'll go into the mindset for business growth, second part. And then at the end, we'll do more questions. So I ask that everybody mute themselves, put the questions that you want to ask in the chat. And then after the first section, approximately 9:35, we'll answer about 3 or 4 questions. Okay. And without further ado, let me introduce our fantastic speaker from Main Street America, Teresa Heger.
Thank you, George, and welcome everybody. I appreciate George and Main Street America hosting this webinar. And like George mentioned, we've got a lot to cover today, and we have 2 separate topics that we're going to be talking about. So there will be a definite break in between the 2 of them, and hopefully we can get to some of your questions that you may have. So let's get started. In the first segment of the workshop, we're going to cover some digital marketing strategies, how to create, claim, and manage your Google business profile on search and maps, how to improve your website's visibility in Google's organic search results. We're going to talk about how to use some tools, Google Trends and Google Search Console for your small business. And then we're going to evaluate how to evaluate your website using Google Analytics. And then in the second segment, we'll cover your mindset for business growth. And we're going to talk about adopting a growth mindset, staying resilient during tough times, and then persevering for the long-term success. So if you're anything like me, when you want to search for an item or a place to eat, the first place you go to is Google. And that's why having a free Google business profile is so important for you as a business owner. The Google Business Profile is a free way to help your business information appear correctly on Google Search and Maps. Now, a verified Google Business Profile allows you to update your address, phone number, website, hours of operation, and so much more. Business profiles are available for businesses with physical locations that customers can visit, like a brick and mortar storefront, excuse me, or businesses with local service area. For example, you could have a local service area if your business visits customers at their location. The general rule is that businesses must make in-person contact with customers during stated hours. Now, some of the business categories that are ineligible for a business profile would include a business that's online only. So if you are just an e-commerce store only, or if businesses that have rentals or for sale properties such as vacation homes, model homes, or vacant apartments, those are businesses that are ineligible for a business profile. Now, the thing I want you to know, if you're here today and your business hasn't opened yet, you can create a business profile and set a future opening date. And we'll cover how to do that here a little later in the presentation. So let's take a look at the anatomy of a business profile. This slide shows the profile on a smartphone. When a searcher discovers your business profile, they'll see business information such as your address, your phone number, and your hours of operation. Now, the business profile can also include photos, videos, customer reviews, and so much more. So in creating the business profile, it allows you to edit information that Google displays. So your business details are up to date and consistent across search and map. And one thing to note is Google will try to create a Google business profile for you, and it can be crowdsourced by other people on the internet. And so that's why it's really important that you claim your business profile and get it verified. But creating the business profile won't guarantee that your business will appear in the Google search and results, but it can help. Now, businesses with storefronts open to customers and those that meet with customers in local service areas can also appear on Google Maps. And appearing on Google Maps is really important. In 2023, Google helped over 2 billion direct connections, including phone calls, direction requests, messages, bookings, and reviews for American businesses each month. So you want to make sure that your business is able to be presented to searchers as they're looking for local businesses. Now, there are many signals that Google uses to determine which results to show, including relevancy, distance, and prominence. Now, relevancy is how well a business matches a search. So if your business profile is detailed and up to date, Google is more likely to show it for relevant searches. And then distance is just what it sounds like. How close are you to how close is your business to the person doing the search? And then prominence is gauged on how well known your business is based on information that Google can find on the web. So if you have a website, if you have a YouTube channel, they're also looking for those types of things when they're trying to present your local business for the searcher. So let's quickly cover how to create a Google business profile. And again, as George mentioned, I'm going to go through these quite quickly. This video is this training is being recorded, so you can go back and replay it if you need to go back over the information. So you're going to get started by going to google.com/business. And in order to use most Google products, including your Google business profile, you need to be signed into your Google account. A Google account provides a single sign-in to access connected Google products. So for example, if you sign into Google and you don't need to sign in again to access your Google Calendar or Google Docs because they're all connected. So if you don't have a Google account, you can set one up for free. And setting up a new Google email address actually creates the Google account for you. But you can also use a non-Gmail email address and register it as a Google account. And you can do that by visiting accounts.google.com/signup. Now note, your email address is not visible to your customers unless you choose to share it. So once you sign into Google, you can create or claim a business profile. And the first step is to type the name of your business as it should appear on Google. As you begin typing, a drop-down list will appear showing a list of businesses. Now you want to scan that list and look for your business. And if you see it, click on it. You'll immediately be asked to confirm your business. Now don't worry if you want to make changes. You can do that after it's been claimed, and we're going to talk about that later in the presentation. Now, if your business name doesn't appear in the drop-down list, you can enter your full business name. And then you'll select a business category. And if you can't find the perfect business category, choose something that's close, because you can change that later. And you can also add other categories once your business is verified. So you'll be asked to choose whether or not your business has a physical location that customers can visit, like a store, a showroom, or a restaurant. If you have a service area business and you see your customers face-to-face at the customer's location or at a local meeting spot, let's say like a coffee shop, you can hide your address. This is helpful because many local service area businesses like plumbers and lawn care services, you don't have a physical location that's open to the public. So you want to make sure that your address is hidden. And that also goes for people who work from home, but meets their customers at, like I said, like at a coffee shop or at a different meeting place. Now, a service area business can still appear in Google Maps, and it will be highlighted in a service area without displaying your specific address or driving instructions. So you don't need to worry about that as you move forward. But if you checked yes, that you have a physical location, you'll be asked to enter the complete official street address for your business. Now note here that PO boxes are not allowed because they are not considered accurate physical locations. And this also includes rental mailboxes at locations such as shipping stores. Now, if your business has a physical address, customers can visit, but also you deliver goods and services to customers, you have the option to add that service area too. And if you are a service area only business, you can see another screen that will ask you for your mailing address. Now, this information will not be public again on the Google search and maps. It will only be used to complete the verification process for your business. So to add the service area, you can enter cities, postal codes, or other descriptions like neighborhoods and districts as your service area. Now, make sure to add any other locations you are marketing your products and services to also, not just the ones where you are physically located. Now, if you're prompted to enter your phone, now you're going to be prompted to enter your phone number and your website URL. And then we'll start the verification process. This confirms the business location and your connection to the business. Now, Google has a variety of ways to verify. You can get a code by an automated phone call or a text. You may get an email. You may be mailed a postcard, or even by taking a video of your location. And just a pro note on if you're asked to take a video of your location, make sure that your video is under 30 seconds, even though they tell you you can have up to a minute video. We have found that anything over 30 minutes doesn't work well for the verification process. Now, verification options may vary, so don't be alarmed in the one that you get. But if the first way that you've been asked to verify your work doesn't work for you, you can request a different verification option. And if your business hasn't opened yet, you can set a future opening date. And you can just do click verify later and then set a future opening date. And this prevents your business from incorrectly appearing on Google as open. Now, if you are a service area business only and did not enter an address when you set up your business profile, again, you may be asked to enter that address. And again, it will not be published on Google Search and Maps. They just need it to confirm your location and the connection to your business. Now, when you receive your verification code, visit Google and search for your business name, just like we did when you set up your profile. And then you should receive a button that says get verified, and you're going to enter your code in that. And in the meantime, you don't need to wait to update your business information. So the updates will go live once the verification is complete. So we're going to talk about how to manage your business information to make sure that it's accurate and up to date. So once your profile is verified, an authorized manager can edit and update business information directly on the Google search results page. To make the edits, you must be signed into your Google account and be an authorized manager of the business profile. Start by searching Google for your business name, and you should see a section labeled Your Business on Google. And this is where you'll edit your business profile. Now, at the top right corner of the profile, you'll see a profile strength. And if it says looks good, it means you have a complete business profile. And if it says complete information, you can click on it to access areas that are missing information. And then below this, you'll see icons that allow you to edit different types of information. These icons can vary based on the business categories that you selected. So if you have multiple businesses that you may be setting up business profiles for, you may see that these icons are different for each business based on the business type. Now, we're going to have you select the edit profile icons when you want to update your business information, like your business description and hours of operations. And please make sure you double check the spelling of your business name and review the business categories, because like I said, Google may pull this information together for you. And if your business name was spelled incorrectly at one point, it may be spelled incorrectly on your profile. So you really do want to make sure you double check that. And then you want to select your category. Remember when we set it up, we selected a category. This is where you can change it. And the first category that you select is your primary category, but you can add up to 9 additional categories to describe your business. And then your business description should describe what you offer, what sets you apart from your competition, and any details that are helpful for your customers to know. And it really should primarily focus on business information, not on promotions, prices, and sales. Making sure that you are using keywords that your customers and potential customers would use to search for your business. Now, this is not just a list of keywords, but in your description, make sure you're putting those keywords in there. Now, note that the description is limited to 750 characters, and it should not include your URL or any HTML code, but make sure that you use as many as those 750 characters as possible. You want to make sure your description is very strong, and again, will allow searchers to find you using the keywords that they will use to search for your business. Now, additional sections are linked at the top of the page, including your contact information. You can have up to 3 phone numbers. You can link it to your website, and you can link to your social media profiles. You can also put your location, but again, you can leave your address blank if you're not open to the public yet, or if you're a service area. And then you can add your hours of operation. And what's really nice here is you can also add special hours, like happy hours if you're a restaurant, or with the holidays coming up and you have extended holiday hours, you can go ahead and put those in there also. And then to help your business profile stand out, you can select an attribute, and these are found in the section labeled More. Some attributes include images that signal pride in your identity, but they can also help attract shoppers who make an effort to support these types of communities. And they include Asian-owned, Black-owned, disabled-owned, Indigenous-owned, Latino-owned, LGBTQ+-owned, veteran-owned, and women-owned. But always check back because Google is continually adding different attributes in this section. Now, check your business profile to see if additional attributes are available for your business, like wheelchair accessibility, payment types that are accepted, installation, and more. And again, the options will vary based on your business category. You can add photos and videos to your business profile to stand out. And this is a great thing to do. And Google views this very highly when you add photos and videos. And to add them, you're going to click on the add video. Excuse me, I need to drink water. You can add a logo, a cover photo. You can add general photos, and you can add up to videos that are 30 seconds long. Now, adding those videos and photos may help your business show up better in the Google search results. And you can make your business profile fresh by using and creating timely posts. So on a mobile device, a post can be seen on the updates or overview section in the search and maps. And on a computer, they'll appear under from the owner. So to create a post, you're going to click on add update. And there are 3 types of posts. There are updates, offers, and events. We're going to go through each of these posts here. So the update option lets you share announcements and highlights that are with important details, such as a new product or service, if you've hired a new person. Maybe if you're an electric company and there's a storm coming, you could give them advice on what to do if they see downed wires, etc. So it's a great way just to give information to your customers and potential customers. But you can also include a photo or video with your updates, and it will have a call to action button on there, and it might add some other information for you. And then offers let you advertise promotions and sales. Now, they do require a title, a start and end date, and the times that the special offer will run. With the holidays coming up, this might be something that you want to consider putting in your business profile. And a view offer, which is a call to action button, or in the view offer, a call to action button will automatically be added to these posts. So you can also add videos and photos here. You can add a coupon code. You can link them back to your website, maybe some terms and conditions also. And under events, this is where you can promote events that you have, maybe workshops that you're holding, celebrations, or fundraisers. It's a good way to keep connected with your customers. So another way to help customers connect with your business is to make sure that your information is accurate and up to date. And connecting to them through reviews. Now, the business profile allows you to read and respond to reviews. You can receive and respond to messages, and you can answer questions in a public Q&A section. So now a few tips for responding to customer reviews. First, keep your responses short, sweet, polite, and professional. And don't use your responses for advertisements. Google does not see that in a good light. But try to respond to all of your reviews, good and bad, and as quickly as possible. And when you get a positive review, thank the customer. If someone leaves a negative review, try to address it constructively. Now, business owners often ask for advice about the negative reviews, and it's usually, how can I remove them? Now, Google won't remove a review unless it violates a content policy. Instead, Google encourages business owners to respond. And responses might explain the company policy or encourage the customer to contact you privately to resolve the issue. And I always tell business owners to come up with a response for negative feedback, such as, I'm sorry you didn't have the experience you were looking for. Please contact us at, give them an email address, so that we can help find a resolution. Now, if it's a spam negative email and nobody responds to it, most of us are smart enough to know that that might be what that negative response is. But if the customer does contact you and the issue is resolved, consider asking them to modify or remove the negative review. This is appropriate for you to do as long as you've come to a good resolution with them. And then how do you ask for reviews? Because positive customer reviews build that credibility and trust, and the more you have, the better. So a great way to get reviews is to ask for them. So you'll see in your business profile, there's an icon labeled Ask for Reviews, and it gives you options to ask for reviews via email, social media. Plus, it will give you a link that you can share anywhere you'd like. And this link will never change, so you can post it in email or any kind of communication that you have with your customers. And then if you have a physical location, consider converting the link into a QR code and displaying it at your location. So possibly after a customer checks out, if they've had a great experience, they can use that QR code right there and then. And then also copy that link and include it when you're emailing happy customers. And if they've had a good experience, they're very willing to take a few minutes to let other people know how you treated them as a customer. Also, I always say to small business owners, if you want reviews from others, make sure you are also reviewing other small business owners. That reciprocity, it goes a long way between the small business owners. And then messages. This allows a customer to connect to you directly from Google Search and Maps. So when a customer sends a message, it'll appear here on your profile, as well as under your update tabs found in the maps on the mobile app. Now, your typical response time will appear on your business profile too. So make sure that you're having somebody check for these messages on an ongoing basis so that you can respond to them quickly. And if you don't respond to a message within 24 hours, Google may deactivate the messaging feature for your business profile. So we've covered a lot of features for your business profile. So you're wondering how, who's actually seeing the information. You can click on the icon labeled Performance. And this is a feature that will give you information about how people found you on Search and Map. What they did once they found you, it'll tell you how many calls came from your profile, maybe what messages you got, bookings, etc. So you'll want to check out the Performance review icon. All right, so that was a lot of information on the Google Business Profile. So let's switch gears and talk about your website and how to improve that. It's really important part of your brand with your online marketing is your website. And this is just another touch point to reach out to your customers. But we want to make sure that your website delivers a great experience for your customers, and it delivers it immediately. Most customers will only wait 0.05 seconds for your website to load. We're very impatient. And if it takes longer than 2 seconds, most people will leave your website. And this is, the expression, you never get a second chance to have a good impression, seems more appropriate here. And Forbes Advisors shared another statistic that 80% of online users won't return to a website if they've had a bad experience. So we want to make sure that our users are having a good website with your website. I'm going to skip this slide here because I think most of you know the profile of how search results look. I'm just going to quickly just say at the top of it, you usually get text ads. Then you'll get the search results, and that's where you want your website to appear. And then you'll also see Google Business Profiles on the right-hand side of the screen. So the process of helping your website increase its visibility is called search engine optimization, or SEO. And you can hire a company to do this for you, but there's things that you can do for yourself to help your website improve its visibility on the search engines. So first, you want to make sure that your website loads fast. This reduces your bounce rates and it improves your conversion rates. Next, you want to make sure that you're publishing useful content that's original, that you created. Google will know if you've copied and pasted some non-original content, so make sure that you're sharing clear and accurate information. And then you also want to make sure that you've got text links in your website wherever possible, and use keywords if it's within your own text or your own website. But also, you want to try to get links on other relevant websites so that you can be linked to other websites. That's called backlinking, and it's very important for your website. So if you've got somebody that you share information with or somebody that can publish your website for you, make sure that they've got your link on their website. And then also make sure that every page on your website has a good description. On your home page, most of us have it labeled home, but nobody searches for home. So you want to make sure that your home page, the title of it, is descriptive of your business. And then also the organization is very critical, and that's called information architecture. And when your website is organized, it also helps the search engines find you better and find your information better. So the other thing is to remember that your website is visible and shows well on all types of browsers as well as all types of devices. The next thing is to make sure that your website is secure and trustworthy. And I just want to mention that the next time you go online to pay a bill or place an order, look at the website address at the top of the page. You'll likely notice that there's a padlock symbol at the beginning of the URL, or it starts with HTTPS, and that S indicates that there is a secure socket layer that has been put on that website. And what that does is that encrypts the data so it can't be stolen by hackers. So two things: check when you're purchasing things or giving personal information that the website has that secure certificate on it with HTTPS. And you also want to allow customers to see that on your website. So make sure that you have put that SSL certificate on your website. And the next thing is you want to make sure that you have secure payments. If you have an e-commerce component, you'll want to ensure that the payments are secure. And to do that, you'll need to create a merchant account with a payment gateway. There's many gateways out there. There's Google Pay, there's Apple Pay, and you'll just want to make sure that you've got the secure payment options on your website. And then you also want to make sure that on your website, as like your Google Business Profile, that you're asking for reviews, you're putting reviews out there, as well as the ratings out there. Shoppers like to see how you're doing, and if you're rated, and we all do that in our own shopping. We're looking for how well a business is rated, so you want to make sure that that's on your website. And then you also want to make sure that customers can easily and clearly find your contact information, such as your address and your phone number. Don't make them search for that information. All right, so that's things you can do on your website. The other thing that you can do to monitor, maintain, and troubleshoot your website's presence in the Google search results is using a free tool called Google Search Console. And it's a no cost tool designed to help you improve your site's performance. Now, this tool can help you understand and improve how Google sees your website. And as a small business owner, you may not have the capacity to dive deep into the technical details of the Search Console report, but it can help you understand how and why to make improvements. So the reports that you're going to get, they're going to first confirm that Google can find and access or crawl your website. It also allows you to find indexing problems and allows you to request re-indexing of new and updated content on your website. And indexing just means that you're included in the pages that Google indexes. And you have to be in there to be able to show up in the search results. And then showing Google search traffic data for your site. For example, it will it'll show you how often you appear in Google search, which search queries show your website, and then how often searchers click through those queries. And then Google Search Console also allows you to sign up for alerts. So if Google finds any issues with your website, it will let you know that. And then another free tool for you to think about is Google Trends. And if you haven't used this, it's a great tool to check out. You can look at what words are trending in Google, what topics. And so you can search for maybe information that you're looking to put on your website, and it'll tell you how it's trending and how popular it is currently on the internet. The other thing you can do in Google Trends is you can compare words. So if you're like Trade Street Jam Company, for example, they want to know how the word jam works as well as the word jelly, and they can compare those search terms. What's nice about Google Trends, it will also show you where those words trend by state. And you can see on the graph here, you see a blip there, and that's a seasonal blip for jellies and jams. So there's a lot of information that you can get from Google Trends, and it may allow you to find some content that you can put on your website. So, and the next tool is, how do we look at our website and how it's performing? So one of the tools that we're going to talk about now is Google Analytics. And I just love this quote here: data makes your briefcase heavy, but insight makes you rich. So how do you decipher the information that you're getting? And that's really through Google Analytics. It tells a story. And you want to look for patterns of how visitors are visiting your website, what they bought, if they're coming through one of your ads, if they're coming through social media. There's a lot of information that Google Analytics will tell you about how people found your website and actually what they are doing on your website. Now, again, Google Analytics is free of charge. And it's one of the most popular analytic options out there. If you don't have Google Analytics tied to your website, I would highly recommend that you go do that. Because again, it's going to tell you how the visitors' behaviors to your websites, how they found it. You can track conversions. There's so much information that you can gain on your website so that you can better your website and meet the needs of your customers. And then why use it? Really, again, it just gives you a clear picture. It helps you understand what your customers are doing. Again, it's creating a story. It's creating those patterns for you. Now, Google Analytics will not give you information about individual people, but it gives you information about how groups of people with similar characteristics perform and behave on your website. So you can dig into that too if you understand and know your target audience. I'm going to actually skip this slide just for the sake of time, but this just shows you how Google looks at your content and analyzes it and presents that for you. So in Google Analytics, there's several reports that you're going to get. The first one that's going to get is a real-time report. It actually is telling you what's happening on your website right now, the last 30 minutes, where people are coming from, and then what kind of conversions are happening in the moment. And then you have an acquisition report, and that tells you how you attracted new users. So if you have a campaign out there, you can see that's coming from your campaign. And if they're not coming, then you can adjust your campaign. And then the user acquisition actually gives you, lets you know if people are first-time visitors or if they're returning visitors. And then it tells you if they come from, it can also tell you if they came from a referring website, the organic search result. And then you've got the traffic acquisition report that shows you where users were directly before coming to your website. So a lot of information that you can use there. The engagement report tells you how people navigated through your site. Did they scroll through it slowly, which would indicate they're reading? Did they watch your informational video? Did they sign up for your newsletter? So it tells you what they did when they were on your website. And then if you have e-commerce, you can get the monetization reports to tell you what people were buying and what sales ads and promotions were beneficial for your website. And then retention reports just tells you for how long they were on your website and if they were first-time users. So in other words, do they come back? And if they do, when did they come back and for how long? So you know what you can do with your returning users. And then last but not least is the tech report. This helps you understand what technology that users are using when they come to your site. So if they're from smartphones, if they're from a tablet, if they're from computers, if they're from Android, if they're from Apple, that may be important for some of you to determine how you want to continue to your marketing strategies for your customers. So wow, that was a lot of information on digital marketing strategies and the use of several Google tools. I know I went through it fast. You can replay this video, but at the end, we're also going to show you some ways that maybe you can get some one-on-one help if you want more information. George.
Yes, Teresa, you want to take a
you.
couple questions here real quick, and then we'll get into the second half of the presentation on mindset for business growth. I have a question here. Oh, by the way, just so everybody knows, this presentation is being recorded. We'll put the link up on our website. We'll give you that information. Everybody that is on this presentation will get emailed that link to get onto the website. Okay. But a couple of questions. So I have here, there was one of the questions was in regards to home-based businesses for Google profiles and Google Map, business map and everything. If you're home-based, like a travel agency, for example, would that be allowable? Because you said something like home-based businesses may not be available for that or can take advantage of that.
Yes, as long as they're meeting with customers face-to-face during specified business hours, they would be. And so if you're doing Zoom calls and things of that sort, if you're meeting them at coffee shops and things of that, yes, that would be allowed.
Okay, good. What info should be included in a website privacy policy to comply with federal and Michigan regulations regarding internet privacy?
What was the beginning of the question? I missed that.
I'll repeat it again.
Yeah.
What information should be included in a website, the privacy policy to comply with federal and Michigan regulations regarding internet privacy?
Yeah, every website should have one, and that's going to be different for your type of business, different type of business. So this is where I'm just going to recommend that you research what it should be for your business, and highly recommend you reach out to an attorney or someone who better understands that for your website. But I would definitely recommend that you do have that on every website.
Great, thank you. Here's another question: can a nonprofit without a physical home base but uses space at a business that has its own Google profile qualify for a Google profile?
So if I'm understanding correctly, it's a non-profit business that's like resides with somebody else's business.
Yeah, I'll repeat it again because a little bit unclear. Can a nonprofit without a physical home base, but uses space at at business that has its own Google profile qualify for a Google profile?
Okay, yes, you can, because that is your address also. Now,
Okay.
here's the only situation you might find with this one is because you're both using the same address. So I always recommend put a suite number on it. If you're a second business in that same address, put like suite A or B, even if you don't use that in your address, so that they know that there's two different businesses within that same address.
Okay. Here's a question about some confusion about the the profile. I think is I thought I was verified, but keep getting solicitations to verify my listings. What is that? Is that a common complaint sometimes?
Well, I guess I would want to ask the person who asked the question, are they getting phone calls?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Because if you're getting it from a phone call, they're usually people who want to sell you their services. It's not Google. Google will not call you and tell you that your business is not verified. So that's usually somebody who's trying to market you other services. So know that. Now, if you log onto your business profile and it says it's not verified, that's different. But if you're getting the phone calls and the solicitations, those are usually other businesses trying to get you to buy their services.
Got you. Okay. Another quick question here. I thought they were going away from analytics. So is this still available?
It is. They did switch about a year and a half ago from the original Google Analytics to the Analytics 4. So there was just a transition period there, but Google Analytics still is available.
Okay, good. All right. And I think that's all the questions for now, Teresa. And again, we'll start with the second half in regards to the mindset for business growth. And then at the end, we'll have room for another 4 or 5 more questions.
All
Okay.
right. Sounds great, George.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, so we're going to switch gears here and talk about a totally different subject here. And we're talking about mindset for business growth. And as entrepreneurs, you know that you face challenges every single day that other people may not face, but from balancing long hours and fluctuating income to navigating unpredictable markets and competition. And this is why our mindset, how we think about these challenges, plays a crucial role in leading your business to success. The growth mindset concept was popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck. And this is one of the most popular tools that you as a business owner can adopt for business success. With growth mindset, you view challenges and failures and setbacks as opportunities and learn to grow, opportunities that you can learn to grow from rather than a reason to give up. It's about embracing effort as the path to mastery and seeing obstacles as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. So I want to talk to you about the two different types of mindsets. The first is the mindset, the growth mindset, and the second is the fixed mindset. Now, these two approaches are fundamentally different, and they shape how we respond to challenges, opportunities, and even failures in businesses. So let's start with the fixed mindset. People with a fixed mindset believe that their abilities, intelligence, and strategies are set in stone. So in other words, they think you're either born with those certain capabilities or you're not. And so for them, success comes from proving that they're smart or talented, and failure is a reflection of personal limitations. On the other hand, a person with a growth mindset is all about believing that your abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. People with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, and you do not see failures as a reflection of your limitations, but again, as stepping stones. So in entrepreneurship, having a growth mindset is critical because your mindset influences how you respond to challenges. If you adopt the growth mindset, you'll be more resilient, adaptable, and better equipped to innovate, which are all qualities that are essential for entrepreneurship or for entrepreneurs. So, what are some of the benefits of adopting the growth mindset? First and foremost, a growth mindset enhances resilience. And this is when you embrace challenges and view the setbacks again as opportunities for learning. And it allows you to better bounce back from those setbacks. It fosters innovation. You get better at solving complex problems, and you're more creative in your solutions. And then it improves your problem solving skills. So instead of feeling defeated by challenges, you actually approach them from curiosity and a desire to understand what went wrong and how to fix it. And another key benefit is enhanced motivation. When you believe that your efforts can lead to improvement and growth, you are more likely to stay committed to your goals. And then also the growth mindset helps you with better your relationships and helps you better collaborate. When you view challenges as learning opportunities, you actually become open to the feedback and input from others. And then lastly, the growth mindset contributes to overall business success. By cultivating resilience, fostering innovation, and enhancing problem solving and collaboration, you position your business for long-term growth. So, how do we cultivate the growth mindset? The first strategy is to really embrace those challenges. Instead of shying away from difficult tasks, actively seek them out. So, for example, if you're afraid of public speaking, consider joining a local Toastmaster club to practice and gain confidence. And then next, you really want to shift your perspective on failure. Again, you view them as valuable learning experiences. You know, Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." And if we can all take that perspective on, we will continue to view those failures as valuable lessons for your business. And then also practice self-reflection. Take time to assess and your experiences and identify what you've learned from both the successes and the setbacks. And reflecting on this journey allows you to recognize those patterns of your thinking and behavior, and it makes it easier to shift toward that growth-oriented mindset. And then also incorporate positive self-talk. Sounds simple, but we want to really pay attention to that inner dialogue and the challenges of those negative, when those negative thoughts arise. So instead of saying, "I can't do it," try rephrasing it to, "I can learn how to do it." Also pay attention to what I call those staff meetings that happen in your mind. Those sometimes you can get to a point where those staff meetings actually take over and can convince you not to do something that you're looking at doing. And then lastly, surround yourself with growth-minded individuals. Engage with people who encourage your development and challenge you to step outside your comfort zone. You know, this could be in the form of networking groups, mastermind sessions, or simply friendships with other entrepreneurs. And then, you know, in today's fast-paced business environment, the ability to bounce back from setbacks and to adjust to the challenges is really crucial for long-term success. So how do we build resilience and adaptability? We really want to make sure that we're reflecting on what resilience is, and it really is the cornerstone of the entrepreneurial success. And it's really not about just bouncing back. It's about thriving in the face of adversity. Resilience is the ability to withstand those setbacks, adapt to change, and keep moving forward despite the challenges. And when you develop resilience, you can also, like I mentioned earlier, enhance those problem-solving skills. And this helps you recover more quickly and keeps your business more agile and responsive. And again, resilience fosters that positive mindset, which is really crucial to the growth mindset. We want to make sure that your perspective can significantly impact the morale and culture of your team. So we want to make sure that you've got that positive mindset and that growth mindset. It helps you create an environment where everyone feels encouraged to innovate and take calculated risks. And then furthermore, it's critical to long-term success. If you maintain focus on your goals and your vision, even when circumstances change, you have and you allow yourself that ability to pivot. And all I can say is think about 2020 and COVID, how many people were able to pivot quickly in the face of COVID-19. And a lot of that was from being resilient in their mindsets. And then, of course, resilience also contributes to your overall well-being. As entrepreneurs, you often experience high levels of stress, and developing resilience can help you mitigate the negative effects of that stress. So by fostering a resilient mindset, you create a healthier work-life balance, and ultimately enhances your effectiveness as a leader and as a business owner. And then the other point is perseverance. And it's really another key to achieving that long-term success. So for entrepreneurs, staying committed and resilient over the long term is often what sets successful businesses apart. Perseverance means staying focused on long-term objectives, even when facing those challenges. And entrepreneurs with this quality do not give up easily. They hold on to their vision and they work steadily toward it, and it helps them build that momentum over time. And growth mindset goes hand in hand with perseverance. It strengthens mental resilience, which is critical in the unpredictable world of entrepreneurship. A resilient entrepreneur can withstand stress, manage uncertainty, and keep moving forward without getting overwhelmed. And then perseverance requires a balance between adaptability and patience. It's about being flexible and adjusting strategies when necessary, but also having the patience to see long-term plans through and understanding that success does not happen overnight. And then finally, perseverance is driven by a deeper sense of purpose. Entrepreneurs who connect their work to a personal passion or mission find it easier to stay motivated during tough times, and enables them to sustain their effort and focus for the long haul. So hopefully from this, you have gained, or you have learned, that the fixed mindset and the growth mindset are real. And guess what? We both have them, and we slide in and out of each of those mindsets. But the more you focus on and pay attention to the growth mindset and keep that forefront in your mind, the more you will be able to use the tools of resilience, perseverance, and adaptability for the long-term success of your business. All right, George, that was it on the mindset. We've covered a lot in the last hour, so hopefully you were able to gain a better understanding of some of the digital marketing strategies, and then how the growth mindset is important to you and your business success.
Thank you very much, Teresa. Fantastic presentation as always. And I, again, being a small business owner myself, in addition to being a full-time employee at Oakland County, the mindset is, you almost have to start there. You have to have that proper mindset. So I think this is so valuable information, Teresa, to get your mind right and just keep on persevering and stand up for your family, your business. You don't want to let your family down by letting the business fail. So if you keep this mindset going, just persevere, see it through. It does take time. So fantastic. Okay, so I got a few more questions.
Sure.
In regards to, there is actually, here's a comment. So OSTC NE entrepreneurship and marketing class, what is the best, most effective way to keep employees / coworkers motivated and resilient from burnout?
Oh, that's a great question. Because I'm sure we've all experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of the things that I think of when I hear that question is, one, we need to stay in the growth mindset for ourselves, for the business, but as well as we need to share this information with our employees so they understand that also. But it's difficult to keep keep your business employees motivated, especially if times are tough or if things are stressful in your business. But I really believe, as a business owner, it's in the communication. It's talking with them. It's finding out what their concerns are. And what I didn't get into in this presentation, because we don't have time, is really the act of listening. When you're talking to people, listen for understanding and curiosity versus for replying. And when we can step back as business owners and take that approach, we're going to gain so much information on our employees that hopefully we can understand what's going on for them. And then we can come up with those problems problem solving skills to help them through that.
Great. So just to kind of follow up to that question, Teresa,
Mhm.
little rewards can work well. However, they can become costly to a small business owner. So any suggestions on some type of rewards that really don't cost that much money? You know,
Yeah.
what is your thoughts there?
The first thing that comes to mind for me is the 5-to-1 ratio of giving feedback to your employees. It doesn't cost you anything. So many times we focus on the negative with our employees, and that's all they hear and see. Sometimes they just want to know that they're doing well. So we talk about the 5-to-1 ratio. If you see it, say it. Say it. And I talk about the situation, benefit, and impact when somebody is doing something. When you see somebody, hey, this morning when the rush hour was really busy, that's a situation. I saw that you went above and beyond to help that customer carry their coffee to their table. The impact to that is the customer didn't spill their coffee and they felt very appreciated. Those types of things go a long way and it doesn't cost you anything. And I think sometimes we want to reward people with money or trinkets and things like that, which is great. And we need to do that. If we have the ability to give those bonuses and those things, that's great. But I think a lot of times we just want to hear that we're doing a good job. And we want to know specifically what it is that I did and what's the impact that it had on the business.
I agree 100%. People want to feel that they're part of the team, right? Part of the
Right.
solution. So awesome. Okay. Um, so let's wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for attending. We had great attendance here, 60 people, and the vast majority of them are still on at the end of the presentation. So thank you very much. I want to put in just a little further updates. So remember, everybody is going that if you're registered for the program, we're going to send you, we'll have an email that sends you the link to the page that you can go on because this presentation has been recorded. Okay, so you have access to that. Also, in November 21st, Main Street America, which Teresa is part of, and which Main Street Oakland County kind of reports to also, we get guidance from them. They're going to do again November 21st. There's going to be another virtual workshop, digital marketing workshop, on how to master soft skills for business success. And the soft skills are very important too. It's that smile, it's that handshake, it's that confidence. How do you present yourself, right? What's your mindset? So I would really recommend going on there. Go on the MSA website, Main Street America website. You have to register for the program. There's no cost. They're usually about an hour in length, and it's fantastic information. Um, and then, was there something, Teresa, you want to say about a QR code?
Yeah. So on the screen here, I have the link for the Main Street America, where you can register for the upcoming seminar or webinar, where you can view already recorded webinars. We've already had 3 in the series of 4. There's also some 20-minute short videos that are on there with information. So, but that QR code can also get you there too. So both the QR code and the link. And the other thing I want to mention, George, is if you go on to the website and you've got more questions, or if you want some help with your business, you can sign up for a one-on-one session with a trainer. There's 4 digital trainers in that group, in that resource group. And you can sign up for a 30-minute session, a one-on-one session with us. You can pick whichever trainer you would like. And then I'll just give you a little tip here is if one session is long enough, we typically offer you a second one. And again, these are free one-on-one sessions. So please take advantage of it. And this offer is through December 31st, this program that we're working on with the small business digital trainers right now goes through December 31st.
Thank you very much, Teresa. And again, I want to thank all the participants today here at Oakland County, Main Street, Oakland County, and Main Street America in Chicago, throughout the whole United States. We want to help small businesses grow, thrive, and succeed. Everybody knows that small business is the core of how America was built. It's not only about the big corporations and the big box stores, it's about the small individual mom and pop businesses, and some of them will grow to have hundreds of employees. So again, we want to thank all of you. Have a safe week. And again, we will send you the link in an email to where this recording will be. You can retrieve the recording. So thank you and have a blessed week, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.